Rise, please. We'll do an invocation, the Pledge of Allegiance. Everybody bow your head. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day, Lord. Thank you for all your blessings, Lord. Just be with our folks in the north and south end as the waters continue to rise. Lord, be with them so they houses don't flood again, Lord, and just help us to do the business of the county to represent the people in this community to our best. Lord, just be with everybody as they travel. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, thank you, everybody, for coming today. I don't have any elected officials here. No, Jeff, thank you. Commissioner-elect, you got one more month of sitting out there. So thank you for being here.
We got an empty seat up here if you want to come on up.
Yeah, there's an empty seat if you want to try. Take it for a test run. It's too late. Anyway, we'll go ahead and do our approval of our agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a approval of agenda to add executive session for real estate, litigation, and personnel, please.
Okay. And then we need to put that table, item number 6. Huh?
We can do all this.
Okay.
And then table number 6.
And table number 6.
Oh, table 6.
Okay.
Second.
Second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. All right. Then we need the approval of our October meeting minutes.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the October 2024 meeting minutes as presented.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Motion carries. All right. We need the approval of our consent agenda.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as submitted.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we'll take a motion to close this meeting, open our public hearing, and then we'll come back and vote on these items when we go back into our regular scheduled meeting. So I need a motion to close this meeting, open a public hearing, please.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we close this meeting and open a public hearing.
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you. All right, first up, the agenda is James Moore, second reading of ordinance to amend the zoning map for 1+ acre parcel 009-015.
Good evening. Yeah, item number 1 is the second reading of an ordinance to amend the zoning map for property located at 1412 Otter Hole Branch Road. James Moore is requesting to rezone a 1 acre portion of a approximately 14.2 acre property from the A5 agricultural to the RR1 rural residential zoning district. The applicant just plans to complete a minor subdivision in order to place an additional home. So this is located on the north side of the county, kind of southwest of Pembroke. And you can see the current zoning map here with the hashed area. That's the area to be rezoned. And you can see it does meet the comprehensive land use map. And we went and took some pictures. And this is what the proposed minor plat would look like. Staff does recommend approval of the rezoning, as did the Planning and Zoning Commission on September the 17th. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions? Does anybody here wish to speak for or against this? Nobody here speak for or against it? All right. The next item up is Awning Partners LLC, a second reading of an ordinance to amend the zoning map for 10.66 acres, parcel 034-018 and 034-019.
So this is the second reading to rezone 2 parcels located on 280. You can see highlighted there. They're currently zoned RR1, and they're requesting to rezone to I1 for warehousing and office space. There is also an existing home on the property, which they are proposing currently to repurpose into office space. You can just see the surrounding zoning there. And it is located within the mixed-use area, so it is compatible with that comprehensive plan. This is their concept plan, and you can see the buildings they're proposing there. The surrounding properties are mainly industrial and rural residential, so there is some buffering proposed to meet ordinance requirements and reduce that impact on any residential lots. And they did also complete a traffic study with some recommended improvements. There is also a large area of wetlands identified on the concept plan, which they are avoiding for the most part. So at their meeting, Planning and Zoning did recommend approval with the following conditions. They enter into a water and sewer agreement as required by the county engineer prior to any development permits being issued. They enter into a transportation agreement as required by the engineer prior to the issuance of any development permits. Left and right turn lanes to be provided for a full access driveway on 280 due to the truck traffic and the volume of through traffic. And GDOT will make the final determination on those improvements. And that the parcels be combined via minor plat and recorded prior to site plan approval. And I can answer any questions you have.
Okay, anybody have any questions on that one? Nope, anybody here wish to speak for or against? Just come up and state your name, please, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Robert McCorkle here on behalf of the petitioner. Yeah, just to mention, property is I-2 zoned property on two sides of it. There's a warehouse constructed adjacent to it. We originally applied for I-2 for the zoning for this property. We worked with staff over the time period of going through the traffic studies and everything else, and they asked us to revise our request down to I-1, which we agreed to do, which I think is consistent with the other property along 280 that's been rezoned already closer down to 80. And so the idea here is just to have a 50,000 square foot warehouse. There's a lot of demand for kind of that size of property as opposed to some of the huge ones that are being constructed around. And I believe we've met the ordinance. We're fine with the conditions that were placed on it by planning and zoning, by staff, and we just ask your support, and I'm happy to answer any questions y'all have.
Anybody have any questions? All right, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Okay. Next up, we have the SCWC Enterprise doing business as Phillips Paving Claymore Amendment to Conditional Use Permit Conditions. Storage of materials for 1.63 acres, parcels 037-035-01.
Claymore with Phillips Paving is requesting an amendment to a conditional use permit that this board approved back in March of this year. That conditional use permit was for the temporary operation of a mobile concrete batch plant. It was approved with 7 conditions that they were to abide by. The first condition of regulating the placement of structures and materials on site and prohibiting their placement within the front yard setback. The applicant is now requesting an amendment to that condition number 1 in order to allow the storage of aggregate materials that are needed in the production of concrete within that front setback area. So for a refresher, the property is located on Highway 204 right there at Pine Barren Loop Road. It is triangular in shape. And that front setback area that we're talking about would be that area that parallels Highway 204. Now, if you've been by the site, you've probably seen that concrete block wall that has gone up. This wall is being proposed as part of a containment system. So what we would see on the private property side of that wall are bays that would store that aggregate material that they would be using in the production of concrete. So whenever we took this to the Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting last month, they did recommend approval of an amended condition, still requiring that no permanent structures be located within that front setback, but allowing an exception for that concrete block containment system with the condition that it be removed whenever the conditional use permit expires. And so with that, I can answer any questions that you might have.
Any questions? Okay, anybody here to wish to speak for or against? All right, thank you. All right, we will go and tell we'll take a motion, or we should do our non-public hearing first, right, Aaron? Okay, we'll go ahead and do our non-public before we go back into our regular meeting. So up next is for our non-public hearing is our second reading of ordinance to adopt Chapter 7, Broadband Ready Community.
So currently, the county does not have an ordinance that specifically addresses this larger broadband infrastructure. So this proposed ordinance was created based on the state model ordinance and lays out the steps and timeline for review of larger projects. Once adopted, the county will also apply to become a designated broadband-ready community through the DCA in the state. And I can answer any questions you have.
Do you have any questions on that? Okay, thank you. All right, next up is VG's Collision, first reading of ordinance to amend the zoning map for 3.22 acres, parcel 025-001-01.
Yeah, item number 2 is the first reading of an ordinance to rezone property located at 209 Bill Futch Road from the B1 Neighborhood Commercial District to the B2 General Commercial District. The applicant plans to continue the operation of heavy automotive repair and establish an accessory car rental service. But again, this is a first reading only. It will go to Planning and Zoning next week for a recommendation and will be back before the board on December the 10th. And I can answer any questions you may have.
Anybody have any questions on that? No. All right, next up is the first reading of an ordinance to amend Bryan County sign ordinance.
So this is a first reading of an ordinance that would amend certain regulations of the Bryan County sign ordinance. The ordinance amendments specifically focus on regulating signage along interstate highways and within the commercial and industrial zoning districts. And specifically, it's going to be proposing some changes to introduce new provisions for digital gas price displays and modify provisions for outdoor advertising signage as well as interstate pole signs. So this is just being presented this evening for a first reading, so no action is needed. However, we are going to move this forward into a public hearing with our Planning and Zoning Commission at their meeting next week, and then we would bring it back to the Board of Commissioners for that second reading and action at your meeting in December. And for any members of the public who are interested in this ordinance amendment, the Community Development Department does have copies available upon request.
Okay. Do you have any questions? All right, thank you. Amanda. All right, now we'll take a motion to close our public hearing and reopen our regular scheduled meeting to vote on these items.
Chairman, I make a motion that we close the public hearing and return to our regular meeting.
Second.
In favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carries. All right. First up is the James Moore second reading of ordinance to amend the zoning map for 1 acre parcel 009-015. Need a motion for that one.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve the rezoning of parcel number 009-015 from A5 to RR1.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, next up is the awning partners, second reading of ordinance to amend the zoning map for 10.66 acres, parcel 034-018 and 034-019.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the rezoning of parcels number 034-018 and 034-019 from RR1 Rural Residential to the I-1 Light Industrial Zoning District with the following conditions. The developer shall enter into a water and sewer agreement as required by the county engineer prior to the issuance of any development permits. The developer shall enter into a transportation agreement as required by the county engineer prior to the issuance of any development permits. Left and right turn lanes shall be provided for a full access driveway on US 280 due to the percentage of truck traffic entering the site and the volume of through traffic on US 280. GDOT shall make the final determination on whether full access with left-right turns will be permitted. Number 4, the parcel shall be combined via a minor plat and recorded prior to site plan approval.
I'll second.
Second that. Are any discussion on that? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, next up is our,
Chairman,
yes, okay. Next up is the SCWC Enterprise doing business Philip Paving Claymore amendment to conditional use permit conditions storage of materials for 1.63 acres parcel 037-035-01.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the amendment of the conditional use permit to reflect the following condition. All equipment and materials must be contained within the required building setback lines. The only exception to this is the concrete block containment system for aggregate storage, which must be removed from the site upon expiration of the conditional use permit.
Okay,
Second.
second on that. All right, any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, down to our second reading of an ordinance to adopt Chapter 7, the Broadband Ready Community.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the second reading of an ordinance to add Chapter 7, broadband-ready community to the Bryan County Code of Ordinances.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that carries. Thank you. The other two are first readings. We're down to our administrator items, and Catherine Downs is going to take Ben's place on this tonight. So Catherine, you have these items to go over.
Good evening, Commissioners. First, we have item 1. It's an appointment to the Planning and Zoning Commission and Board of Adjustment. As you're aware, Alex Floyd will be sworn in as Bryan County Commissioner in January of 2025. He will be resigning from the Planning and Zoning Commission and Board of Adjustment. Matthew Fiera has expressed a desire to serve on the Planning and Zoning Commission and Board of Adjustment and is seeking appointment. If appointed, Mr. Fiera's term would begin January 1st, 2025 and expire February 28th, 2029. Recommendation is to consider the appointment of Matthew Fiera to the Bryan County Planning and Zoning Commission and Board of Adjustment.
Mr. Chairman, I move to appoint Matthew Ferrera to the Bryan County Planning and Zoning Commission and Board of Adjustments.
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, next up, Belfast Keller Road Access Project, CO number 3, contract time extension.
Under the current construction contract for the Belfast Keller Road School Access Project, several utility companies such as Clearwave Fiber and Comcast Fiber were in conflict of proposed construction and significantly delayed construction. Based on updated construction schedule from the contractor, Reeves Construction Company has requested substantial completion date be increased by 132 days to March 1st, 2025, and for final payment date to be increased by 125 days to April 1st, 2025. The recommendation is to approve change order number 3 for Reeves Construction Company, which will increase the contract date for substantial completion to March 1st, 2025, and final payment to April 1st, 2025.
All right, need a motion on that one.
Mr. Chair, go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve change order number 3 for Reeves Construction Company as presented.
Second.
Second, any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Item number 3, Fisherman's Co-op, contract additions and time extension.
Yes, so this item has 7 items in change order number 2. Items number 1, 2, and 4. During the remediation work of the existing pier head, additional work including additional pile cleaning to ascertain the extent of the damages, addition of pier head drains and to accommodate ponding water, and modification of the ADA ramps were identified and deemed required for the completion of the work. Item number 3. During the clearing for the nature path, an existing drain channel was discovered in the footprint of the path, and an additional elevated drainage crossing or boardwalk was necessary to maintain drainage conveyance in that area. Item 5, prior to removal of the cofferdam sheet pile, the bottom of the creek elevation was evaluated in comparison to the grade inside the cofferdam. During construction, substantial erosion has occurred along the water side of the cofferdam, necessitating an additional riprap to prevent undermining of the newly constructed boat ramp and removal of the cofferdam sheet pile. Item 6, the pump station included in the big bid package was to be completed as a design build station. During the review of the submitted design build package, consultant provided comments based on available power to the site as well as requesting an additional design considerations to be included in the submittal package. Item 7, contractor is requesting an extension to the contract. The new proposed substantial completion date is February 19th, 2025, and ready for final payment by March 21, 2025. Contractor is requesting the time extension due to the subconsultant and material fabrication backlog. Thomas & Hutton has reviewed the submitted change order and has confirmed the submitted quantities and prices. Change order number 2 is attached and amounts to the total of $118,644.87. Recommendation is approval of change order number 2.
Okay, we need a motion
motion for that one?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve change order number 2 for an overall increase in contract price in the amount of $118,644.87 as presented.
I'll second.
Second. Any discussion on that? Comments? Okay, all in favor, raise your right hand. All opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. Number 4, the acceptance of Homeland Security grant to refurbish BEMA's mobile command vehicle.
Yeah, so in the spring of 2024, Bryan County staff applied to Homeland Security for funding to refurbish the Black Hawk mobile command vehicle. The application requested $160,555. No matching funds are required. The total project was estimated to cost $320,000. GEMA Homeland Security informed Bryan County that the state of Georgia awarded the Bryan County EMS a sub-grant funded from the federal FY 2024 State Homeland Security Program. The amount of the grant is $160,555 to build and enhance our community's capabilities in Homeland Security. The grant funding can only be used for the purposes specified and authorized by a recipient-subrecipient agreement and has no action may be undertaken until the agreement has been finalized. On October 23rd, the county was notified by GEMA that the application was funded. The recommendation is to accept the grant and associated funding and authorize staff to execute all necessary documents and implement the grant.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the Homeland Security grant and the associated funding and hereby authorize staff to execute all necessary documents to implement the grant.
Second.
Second. Any discussion, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, next up, number 5, consideration of resolution to approve IJ between Bryan County and the city of Richmond Hill, Belfast Keller Road improvements.
In furtherance of public welfare and in the best interest of the citizens of Bryan County, the county is entering into an intergovernmental agreement with the city of Richmond Hill regarding the joint funding, design, and construction of certain transportation improvements to Belfast Keller Road. Under the IGA, the county and the city agree to share the cost of the transportation improvements to Belfast Keller Road, not funded by private developers. The recommendation for this is for the item to be approved, subject to final legal approval.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve an intergovernmental agreement between Bryan County and the city of Richmond Hill for the Belfast Keller Road improvements, subject to final legal review.
And
I'll
approve.
second.
Second. All right, any discussion on that? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, thank you. That motion carries. Thank you, Catherine. We're down to our county attorney items.
Mr. Chairman, good evening. The first item for consideration is a resolution to authorize the acquisition of some right-of-way for the Wilma Edwards 280 roundabout project that we're working on. This first item is for parcel 5. We made the offer at $8,400. It is .03 acres, and that's based on the appraised value. The property owners accepted that, and so the recommendation is for approval.
Okay, we need a motion on that one.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the resolution authorizing the acquisition of fee simple right-of-way and easement interest from parcel 0251-020 for the Wilma Edwards and Church of God Road Highway 280 roundabout project.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, item number 2 is parcel number 9 for that same Wilma Edwards Church of God Road Highway 280 roundabout project. The appraised value was $25,828. The property owners accepted our initial offer, so the recommendation is to approve that as well.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve a resolution authorizing the acquisition of fee simple right-of-way and easement interest from parcel 0251-019 for the Wilma Edwards and Church of God Road Highway 280 roundabout project.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on that?
Yeah, does anybody know when we started this project? I just had to ask. I don't have many times to ask this kind of a question.
You got 49 days.
Commissioner Covington, we commissioned the appraisals over the summer, and the appraisals, when they came back, our offer packages started going out. So I think our offer packages went out maybe 45 days ago, maybe 30 days ago approximately, but we are acquiring that right-of-way so that the construction can commence.
Well, thank you, but I was really meaning to when we actually started designing this and
Oh, I have no
like
idea.
21,
Commissioner Covington has been very cynical at this point.
apologize.
Been a year or so.
49
process.
days.
Okay. Any other discussion on that? All right, hearing none, we'll take a motion on that. We got a motion on that, second. Everybody, all say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. All right, next up.
Made you forget where you were, dude.
I know, right?
And so you know, Commissioner Covington and members of the board, we have some more right-of-way acquisitions for this roundabout that'll be coming. You know, we're in active negotiations with several of these parcel owners, and hopefully they'll be amicable. If not, we'll tee up condemnation in the spring.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, item number 3 is parcel number 5 for the Oak Level 144 roundabout project. This is a parcel that the title is a little vague and ambiguous on. This parcel is potentially owned by the state of Georgia, either through the Georgia Forestry Commission or the Georgia Department of Natural Resources or the state of Georgia. These agencies have not quite made claim to that yet, but we are in negotiations and discussions with them. What this item does, Mr. Chairman, is authorize us to accept a deed from the state of Georgia or one of these agencies for the small amount of right-of-way we need from that parcel. The recommendation is for it to be approved.
Okay. Need a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing acquisition of a fee simple right-of-way and easement interest from parcel 0631-095 for State Road 144/Oak Level Road Compact Project.
Second.
Second. Any discussion on that? And if we do approve this, it will start probably within the next, I think Glenn said next 15 to 20 days. Was Glenn here? No.
Yes, sir.
Oh, he is, right?
Be in the next couple of weeks, yes.
Couple weeks. All right, great. All right, thank you. With a motion is second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you. All right, item number 4.
Item number 4 also relates to that same parcel. So the reason is the original deed from International Paper to the state of Georgia has what's called a reverter provision, which basically means title revests in the name of International Paper on a certain event occurring. That certain event is the parcel no longer being used for fire protection services. If you drive by that parcel, there's a fire tower on it, it ain't being used. So out of an abundance of caution, my recommendation is to condemn that small interest from International Paper just so that we have clear title, understanding we're going to amicably accept a deed from the state of Georgia as y'all just approved. This is essentially to clear up the title and make sure we have what we need to have to get that project started.
Okay.
The appraised value is $5,634.78. And
Okay.
the recommendation is for that to be approved.
All right, need a motion for that one?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the declaration of taking, order, and resolution to condemn property for parcel number 0631-095 and authorize the county attorney to initiate and maintain condemnation proceedings to acquire the property necessary for the purposes of facilitating the State Route 144 Oak Level Road Compact Roundabout Project.
Second.
Second, any discussion on that? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? Okay, that motion carries. Thank you.
Do we need to take turns going down there and sitting in the tower so it's still being used?
So,
Looking out for fires? I mean,
so I actually
take
think
shifts and do that.
we could. I actually think doing it this way is going to end up being faster.
Okay.
Because we can take the position that title did revert because it's not being used. We'll condemn it tomorrow, and then Glenn and the team will be off to the races to get that project breaking ground.
Okay.
Well, I'd like to volunteer. almost removed Commissioner.
I hear
Take the
Commissioners
first one.
Daniel and Covington would like to take a turn on that fire tower, so I think that's a good idea.
I'd be scared to climb that fire tower.
Elevator? I ain't climbing
It
it.
don't even have a ladder.
Yeah.
We take a crane and lift y'all up there. All right,
Item number 5, Mr. Chairman, is the acquisition of fee simple right-of-way and easements for parcel 1, which is the Brisbane Road Hares Trail project that we are starting to acquire right-of-way on. This parcel is owned by Deacons of Zion Baptist Church. The value is $7,500, and they've agreed to that amount, so the recommendation is to approve.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve a resolution authorizing acquisition of fee simple right-of-way and easement interest from parcel 054-055 for the Brisbane Road Harris Trail Roundabout project.
Second.
second. Okay, any discussion on that? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, okay, thank you. That is your items.
That's all my items, yes, sir. Thank
Yes,
you.
sir. All right, now we're down to our public comments. Does anybody wish to speak to this board in the audience? Nobody? Nobody? Okay, thank you. All right, any commissioners' comments before we go into executive session? If not, I'll take a motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we close this session and go into an executive session for the purpose of personnel, real estate, and litigation.
And everything else.
Second.
Second, all right. All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, we are now in executive session. We'll